why the f I keep living? Like, I should tell y'all that y'all not getting it. Like, so you tell me why should I keep living?
The industry is not what you think it is. Don't let these people fool you, man. Before in the social media, I'm gonna give y'all a little background of me, man. Like, my life is not perfect, man.
It looks like YK Osiris might finally be done playing the industry's game, because he's now tied to one of the most explosive trials in music history. Diddy, whose long-faced whispers about coercion and control, is now being investigated for a disturbing pattern of misconduct. And YK, he may be more than a victim. He could be a key witness. New court documents suggest YK was present at several private events under investigation. If he flips, it could shatter Diddy's entire defense and the industry's silence. YK Osiris's last few years have been a wild, messy, and honestly, kind of tragic spiral, one that's almost too on the nose for the fallen star narrative. Let's start with the numbers. The man went from a triple platinum hit with Worth It in 2019 to being the butt of every industry joke. And it's not because of bad music or poor money management, though there's plenty of that. No, the Osiris saga is a cocktail of financial ruin, public humiliation, mental breakdowns, and if you believe the word on the street, maybe even some Diddy-level industry antics. And the clues? They've been hiding in plain sight, like that infamous broke rapper on a luxury vacation moment that should have had everyone raising their eyebrows. Let's rewind to the start of the spiral. Osiris, born Osiris Jaquil Williams, was supposed to be the next big R&B thing. Worth It was everywhere. Def Jam was throwing in bags, and he was rubbing shoulders with Drake, Russ, Kalani, and Tory Lanez. But the money came fast and left even faster. Osiris himself admitted on The Breakfast Club that he blew through his fortune at breakneck speed. $300,000 on clothes, another $300K on earrings, which he lost, naturally, $250K for his mom, and a weekly haircut bill that would make even LeBron James blush. Then the IRS came knocking, and suddenly the golden child was broke, hustling for relevance and cash.
Overspent on certain things?
Yeah, for sure, man. I went broke so goddamn quick, man. Like, back then, oh my, like 3 years, like 2.5, not 3 years ago, when Worth It came out, man, I blew that money so goddamn fast, man.
But here's where things get weird. Even as Osiris was crying broke, he was spotted living it up in Jamaica, posting thirst traps from a luxury villa, eating fruit, and flexing like he was still on top of the world. No new hits, no visible income, and yet, here he was, vacationing like a billionaire. This was the first big clue that something was off. The streets started whispering, who's funding this lifestyle? And the name that kept coming up? Diddy. Now let's not play dumb. Diddy's name has been in the rumor mill for years, with stories about his mentorship of young male artists and the wild parties that always seem to end in scandal. When Osiris showed up in Jamaica, solo, with no women or family in sight, the speculation hit fever pitch. Was this just a friendly industry getaway, or was YK Osiris the latest recruit in Diddy's infamous freak-off club? The optics were wild, and the timing was even wilder. While the
You know you
How many series? How many series did you win?
trash as
How many series did you win though?
how many games I won?
wilder.
No.
While the Diddy rumors were swirling, Osiris's public image was taking hit after hit. He became known less for his music and more for his viral L's. Remember the time he owed Drake $60K and had to sing Worth It in Drake's mansion to pay off the debt? Or when Lil Baby confronted him in a jewelry store about a $5K tab? Or when his $325K earring mysteriously vanished and he offered a $60K reward for its return? The man was a walking meme, and every rapper in the game seemed to take turns clowning him. Even Drake, who once called Osiris his little bro, started trolling him on Clubhouse, using Osiris's own selfie as his profile pic and roasting him for even thinking about a boxing match. But the real crash came in June 2023, when Osiris crossed a line that the internet and the industry couldn't ignore. At a Crew League basketball event in Atlanta, Osiris was caught on video forcibly kissing rapper and reality star Suki Hana, despite her clear discomfort and protests.
Tattoo. It's the tattoo. I know I've seen some rip right there before.
Oh my God.
The moment was awkward, uncomfortable, and instantly viral. Sukihana, who was commentating at the event, tried to play it off at first, but later admitted she was deeply hurt and wanted to go away for a while. Osiris apologized on Instagram, claiming he misread the moment, but the backlash was swift and brutal. Social media lit up with calls for accountability, and even Sukihana's mother called out Osiris for his fake apology. The incident became a flashpoint for conversations about consent, boundaries, and the toxic culture of the music industry. The fallout was ugly. Osiris's reputation, already in tatters, took another nosedive. He tried to keep his head above water, but the hits just kept coming. He released a somber single called Dear Fans, where he addressed his die-hard supporters directly, but the response was more mockery than sympathy. His attempts to call out trash rappers and demand respect backfired, with fans in the comments clowning his facial expressions and reminding him, "Your career been flopped and your music been trash." It was open season on Osiris, and he seemed powerless to stop it. Then came the boxing debacle. In April 2025, Osiris tried to pivot to influencer boxing, stepping into the ring with streamer Scam Likely at a kick and stake event. The result? Osiris got dropped, lost by unanimous decision, and then broke down in tears during his post-fight interview. But here's the twist. His tears weren't just about the loss. Osiris admitted he was overwhelmed by a sense of isolation, the weight of industry expectations, and a feeling that, no matter how much love he showed, he never got it back. "The devil is trying to crush me, but I'm not going to let him do that," he said in a moment that was raw, real, and honestly, kind of heartbreaking. At this point, you have to ask, is YK Osiris just another casualty of the fame machine, or is there something deeper going on? The Diddy rumors haven't gone away. In fact, they've only gotten louder. Every time a young, broke male artist gets close to Diddy, the same cycle seems to play out. Sudden success, mysterious vacations, a flood of industry whispers, and then, just as quickly, a dramatic fall from grace. Osiris fit the profile perfectly. Young, talented, broke, and desperate for a comeback. That Jamaica trip in particular stands out like a neon sign. If you're broke and selling off your cars, how are you suddenly living it up in paradise? In an industry where nothing is free, you have to wonder, what did he have to give up for that trip, and what did it cost him in the end? The industry has always had its devils, but lately it feels like we're not just linking fallen rappers to the latest villain. We're watching the same script play out in real time. Osiris's story is full of red flags: the sudden rise, the reckless spending, the public humiliations, the desperate attempts to stay relevant, and the mental health breakdowns. He's admitted to losing everything: his mind, his family, his love for music, and begging for help on Instagram. Even his old friends, like Drake, have cut him off, leaving him more isolated than ever.
So why the I keep living? Like, I should tell y'all not getting it. Like, so you tell me why should I keep living?
And yet Osiris keeps trying. After the boxing loss, he went on Instagram to say he was retreating to his OG profession of belting out songs, hinting at a possible return to music. But the industry and the internet seem to have moved on. Every attempt at a comeback is met with more ridicule, more memes, and more evidence that Osiris is yesterday's news. The sad part? He knows it. He's spoken openly about his struggles with mental health, the pressure to keep up appearances, and the feeling that the world is rooting for his downfall. "I show so much love, but I don't get the same results," he lamented after his boxing defeat, a line that sums up his entire career arc. So what's the real story here? Is YK Osiris just another cautionary tale about fame and fortune, or is he the latest victim of the industry's darkest secrets? The word on the street is that Diddy's fingerprints are all over this mess, and if history is any guide, where there's smoke, there's fire. The Jamaica vacation, the sudden influx of cash, the abrupt fall from grace, it all fits the pattern. And in a business where favors are never free, you have to wonder what Osiris traded for his 15 minutes of paradise. Was it worth it? Judging by his current situation, probably not. The saddest part is that Osiris's story isn't unique. The music industry is littered with the names of promising young artists who got too close to the flame and got burned. But Osiris's downfall feels particularly cruel because it played out in public in real time, with the whole world watching and laughing. He became a punchline, a meme, a cautionary tale. And, if you believe the rumors, maybe even a victim of something much darker. Jaguar Wright has never been one to bite her tongue when it comes to industry secrets, and her latest revelations about YK Osiris and Diddy have sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. According to Jaguar, the clown show that YK Osiris has become in the public eye isn't just a tragic accident or the result of poor decision-making. It's allegedly part of a bigger, darker game orchestrated by none other than Diddy himself. Jaguar claims that Diddy had an inside deal with YK Osiris, essentially coaching or coercing him into making a fool of himself online, specifically by doing those infamous dub dances and other viral antics that turned Osiris from a promising R&B star into a walking meme. Now, if you've been following the YK Osiris saga, you know the man's been on a wild ride these last few years. He went from the heights of worth-it success to being broke, desperate for attention, and willing to do just about anything for a little clout. But Jaguar's perspective adds a whole new layer to the story. She suggests that Diddy, who's long been rumored to have a taste for manipulating young, vulnerable artists, saw Osiris's desperation as the perfect opportunity. Instead of offering genuine mentorship or a career boost, Diddy allegedly dangled the promise of a comeback in exchange for Osiris making a spectacle of himself, dancing, clowning, and basically becoming the industry's favorite punchline.
People keep making this all about Diddy rather than looking at everything that's happening around it.
Rapper Tory Lanez, who's currently serving a decade in prison behind bars.
There's a lot of people that want to protect the Diddy agenda because it serves them, because allegedly they're all accomplices.
Jaguar claims there's a secret tape featuring Justin Bieber, Will Smith, Jaden Smith, Diddy, and Osiris all together in what she describes as a freak-off. If this is true, we're not just talking about individual crimes, we're talking about a systematic network of exploitation that reaches the highest levels of Hollywood. The prosecutors didn't let these tapes play in court, but they accepted them as evidence and are reportedly working to subpoena Osiris as a witness. Can you imagine the courage it would take for him to testify against these powerful men who allegedly played with his life?
Like, I'm looking at all of these adult, black, so-called elite entertainment whatevers. Y'all don't get about what's happening to these kids.
YK Osiris's career trajectory over the last few years has been a masterclass in how quickly the music industry can chew up and spit out its rising stars. From the dizzying highs of a triple platinum hit to the crushing lows of financial ruin, public humiliation, and industry exile, his story is a cautionary tale about fame, poor decisions, and the brutal nature of the business. YK Osiris getting dropped by Def Jam in December 2022 was the industry equivalent of being told, "It's not you, it's us," right before getting your heart ripped out. The label tried to spin it as a mutual decision where the relationship ran its course, but let's be real, when you're a liability instead of an asset, there's nothing mutual about it. Osiris went from being their golden boy with a triple platinum hit to deadweight they couldn't wait to cut loose. The timing tells the whole story. This wasn't some strategic career move or artistic differences. This was Def Jam cutting their losses on an artist who'd become more famous for owing Drake money than making music. By December 2022, Osiris had already blown through millions, admitted to being broke on The Breakfast Club, and turned himself into a walking meme. The label saw the writing on the wall and bounced before things got worse. Smart move, considering the Sukihana incident happened just 6 months later. When Osiris dropped Dear Fans in July 2023 as his debut independent single, it should have been a triumphant moment, the phoenix rising from the ashes, the underdog story we all love. Instead, it felt more like watching someone desperately trying to convince themselves they're fine while everything burns around them. The song was raw, emotional, and deeply personal, with Osiris singing about survivor's guilt and fake friends over an acoustic guitar. He literally cried in the promotional video, telling his fans, "Thank you, God, my first independent record dropped." But here's the brutal truth. Nobody cared. The track barely made a dent, racking up a measly 77,000 YouTube views in its first 21 hours. Numbers that would have been embarrassing for a SoundCloud rapper, let alone someone who once had a triple platinum hit. The industry had moved on, and Osiris was shouting into the void, hoping someone would still listen. The flop of Dear Fans wasn't just a commercial failure, it was a reality check that brought Osiris face to face with how far he'd fallen. Without Def Jam's machine behind him, no radio push, no playlist placements, no industry connections, he was just another independent artist fighting for scraps of attention. The streets he'd once risen above were looking more and more like his only option. His follow-up attempts weren't any better. The 2024 single, Time Goes By under Drummer Records, went virtually unnoticed, and his planned EP with DJ Loaf and Tyga features felt more like desperate attempts to stay relevant than genuine artistic growth. Each release seemed to confirm what the industry already knew. YK Osiris was yesterday's news. The Def Jam drop wasn't just the end of a record deal, it was the moment Osiris realized he was truly on his own, with no safety net and nowhere to go but down. His independent debut should have been liberation, but instead, it became proof that sometimes the machine is all that's keeping you from disappearing completely. Without it, even your tears don't make noise.
This industry is not what you think it is. Don't let these people fool you, man. Before in this social media, I'm gonna give y'all a little background of me, man. Like, my life is not perfect.
The $20,000 Audemars Piguet watch scandal represents the final nail in YK Osiris's coffin, the moment when his trajectory from rising star to industry pariah became irreversible. When celebrity jeweler Seth Grossman accused Osiris of stealing the timepiece in August 2023, it wasn't just another embarrassing headline. It was the culmination of everything wrong with his post-fame existence. The details are painfully predictable. Osiris met Grossman through Sean Kingston, tried on the watch, promised to wire $20K, then vanished into a web of lies and excuses. First, he claimed he returned the watch to Kingston. Then he blamed his own father for stealing his jewelry. Finally, he just changed his phone number and ghosted the jeweler entirely. This wasn't the behavior of someone temporarily down on their luck. This was the desperate flailing of a man who'd completely lost his moral compass. What makes this scandal the perfect ending to Osiris's downward spiral is how it encapsulates everything: the financial desperation, the pathological lying, the willingness to burn bridges with anyone who showed him kindness. Seth Grossman took a chance on him based on Sean Kingston's word, and Osiris repaid that trust by allegedly stealing from him. The fact that he was spotted with a new gold grill while still owing $20K shows just how warped his priorities had become. In the end, YK Osiris is a living, breathing example of what happens when the industry chews up its young talent and spits him out the moment they stop being useful. Whether you believe the Diddy rumors or not, the pattern is impossible to ignore. The industry's devils always need a new scapegoat, and right now, Osiris is wearing those horns. Maybe his story will serve as a warning to the next generation. Don't let the promise of fame blind you to the real cost of industry favors, because in the end, the devil always comes to collect. And sometimes, all you're left with is a broken heart, a bruised ego, and a one-way ticket back to obscurity. And if you ever see a broke rapper vacationing like a billionaire, just remember, that's your biggest clue that something in the industry is very, very off.